Hello, class. So we've been writing this dinosaur game over the past little bit of time, and we got it working uh, to an adequate level. The things that we need to do to make it better can get very time consuming, and we only have a certain amount of time to be working through this. So right now, the birds you have to automatically duck under. Um, but I mean, it does feel like the Google game. So we're just going to go through that real quick. So the first part is the HTML. The HTML is very simple, so I'm just putting it up here. Really, it's just a canvas with a script and a style sheet attached. The CSS is also pretty simple. It's just the box around the canvas. And now the last thing that I'd like to show is I want to show the code as it was typed. And I think this might be a little better than me scrolling through the code, which I've done in the past. Shouldn't take that much longer. And so this is our JavaScript page. And if you go through, rather than going from top to bottom, if you type it out in the order that we typed it, that actually can be very beneficial, because typically we don't type it from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. So I'm starting now. We start off just doing a console log, and then we started playing with how can we draw like the intro page. We won't use the intro page for a while, but we're just testing. And then we say, okay, we're gonna have a main function. That main function is gonna trap for key down functions. We're gonna set up our canvas so it's a little bit bigger. We're going to create an update function, and in that update function, that's something that's going to get called over and over and over again. And I'm running this pretty quickly, so it doesn't take too long, because in Google you can definitely pause as you go. And a lot of the times you'll see me reversing and unreversing and reversing and unreversing is because I'm trying to figure out where is the graphic, because all the graphics are in one image, which I'll show you at the end. So then we're working through the jump velocity and dinosaur jumping, and we're drawing the moon. And so each piece we just work through. The moon does change phases every time it leaves the screen. In the real game, it changes phases at a different rate. We don't have a day-night cycle. It was just taking too long. We don't have enough time to get the day-night cycle going. I said I might do a second session on my own where I show how to do that. So we're about halfway done with the code at this point. A lot of times you'll see I type something and delete it. That is normally me explaining something, then putting it as a comment. You'll see me jumping around. But you can definitely follow the line numbers as we're going through. At the very end, I will scroll through the code once, just so you can see the program in its entirety. You can give me some feedback to say, like, yeah, that was actually kind of helpful or not at all helpful. I haven't presented code that we've done in class like this before. And I'm kind of hoping that this solves some problems for people that fall a little bit behind. And just be careful for the line numbers that we're working on. You should also be testing this as you go. When we did this in class, we absolutely were testing like every line or two of code, or every block of code that we did. We would test it, and we're getting towards the end here. And so we're just finishing up a few pieces. We're going to get our game over stuff happening, and then our code will be done. So okay, so at this point, this is the code finished. Now, if we come up here and look at this stuff, we've got a whole bunch of global variables. This is actually a horrible way to code, but it's good for, I feel like it's good for a beginner. You can just see like these are the variables that we're going to be using. Next year you'll learn a much better way to organize our data. But to this, we just wanted to get the data down. And then we just have our start a new game, draw obstacle function, and the draw obstacle draws cactus and birds, and it will flap the bird's wings. Our main function gets called when we first start. Our world change is basically, could just be called score and speed change because that's all that's doing. Our collision is checking, are we colliding with something? And that is probably where I would like to dive in first if I wanted to improve upon this program. It's definitely a very poor collision detection algorithm. When we do have a collision, we display our game over. Our update function, this is what gets called continuously. So we erase canvas, scroll the ground, draw the dinosaur running, so on and so on and so on. And then draw a digit and draw a number. That's for drawing our score, which is below that. And then we have draw clouds, draw moon, draw stars, the dinosaur jumping function, our setting up of our canvas, our erasing canvas, our key up event, our key down event. So we do something different whether you're pressing a key or releasing the key. Drawing the entire intro page, scrolling the ground that goes underneath the dinosaur, having the dinosaur run, and that's the entire program. Thanks, and I hope this was a helpful blitz for any of you that missed any of the pieces while we were coding.